Growing up watching Ash's journey across every region introduced was something magical, and getting up early on Saturday mornings just to catch a new episode of Pokemon always gave me the energy I needed to do whatever I wanted for the whole day. Each season provided something to remember, whether it be Infernape's fight against Electabuzz or Ash Greninja's first appearance. But to me, above all else, the Pokemon movies stand leaps and bounds above any other Pokemon episode in my memory. Mewtwo Strikes Back, Power of One, Spell of the Unknown Entei, Wishmaker, Lucario, and the Mystery of Mew. These 5 movies are the ones I remember most because they are the only ones I've actually ever watched. So, to remedy that fact and hype myself up for Scarlet and Violet's DLC expansion, I want to analyze every single fully animated Pokemon movie to see if these relics from the past hold up to this day. Today we're taking on Mewtwo, Lugia, and Entei, so grab your team of 6 and let's jump into the adventures surrounding these 3 strong Pokemon. Mewtwo Strikes Back is a tastefully dark film that works hard during its beginning to establish Mewtwo as a complex character. From his infancy, there has been a sense of loneliness, limitation, and confusion associated with his character, his only understanding of the world being given to him by Amber, as she serves as his character's framework, setting forward the question of who Mewtwo is. Unfortunately, he's not given the chance to dwell on this as his memories of Amber are suppressed, but his memories of what Mew has seen and experienced brings him to the same questions. What is his role here in this lab and the greater world, and what is his purpose? This missing piece of himself contrasts Dr. Fuji, a man who understands full well who and what he wants to accomplish. However, engaging in the taboo practice that he does, it causes him to lose sight of morals, only focusing on what is fruitful and bringing his daughter back to him. Dr. Fuji is a man too engrossed in his own personal desires to see the implications of what he's creating, and that rubs off on his creation. Mewtwo is nothing more than Dr. Fuji's ambitions come true. From his inception, he was made for human benefit. He's given autonomy just to never be able to use it or find out anything about himself, so his personality and mindset are formed in that moment. This search for purpose stemmed from humans not caring about him as a living, breathing being with individual thought. So it's downright ironic when a human offers him a purpose, he takes it, only for him to be used again for their own ends, culminating in his breakaway from both humans and Pokemon. Having been exposed to the world's selfishness, he understands that he has to forge his own way forward and etch his mark into the world. In returning to his place of origin, he declares a new age to come, an exact notion created from his own birth. Despite his departure from both species of the planet, he uses their attributes in conjunction to start this new era. He leverages his psychic powers, creates clones of Pokemon with predetermined roles, and controls both humans and Pokemon, displaying that he is something beyond the two, all the while acting as a bridge of sorts between the two, a being created by man and modeled after Pokemon. His existence as a perfect clone of Mew does not factor into his search for purpose, rather it furthers that longing as he challenges young and promising trainers such as Ash Ketchum. While it's questionable as to why Mewtwo never challenged stronger trainers like, I don't know, the Elite Four and the Champion, when thinking about it on a deeper level, it makes sense why he sought out up-and-coming talents. They are the world's future in the eyes of many, just like he himself and his Pokemon clones are in his eyes. The existence of clones within this story are crucial to its theme of natural versus artificial, as Mew and Mewtwo quite literally represent this battle. Mew is a natural being that's inherited every Pokemon's DNA. It can't speak any human language and acts like a child, exploring the world free from any interference. Mewtwo is a product of human science, being fully developed to look like an adult of the original, and carries this grudge against the world that he wasn't meant to be in. Furthermore, their conflict deepens because of their opposing approaches to life. Much like a child, Mew was born with no need for purpose, so it is free. Mewtwo, much like an adult, sees this strong need for purpose and place in the world. One is free to take it day by day, whilst the other has a constant mindset of seeing what must be done before their last breath. This is not the only connection Mewtwo has with another character, as Ash is made to spark his change. Ash is the only one who protects his Pokemon despite the risk to himself and directly confronts Mewtwo as an equal rather than a Pokemon to capture. Ash represents the beauty of a proper Pokemon and human relationship, one built on trust and mutual respect, something Mewtwo has never experienced in his entire life, going so far as to mimic the same disrespect he endured by making clones for his own ends as Dr. Fuji had made him. In the end, Ash is the one who brings Mewtwo to a new outlook, freeing him from the chains made by human influence, giving this film a bit of an ironic conclusion for Mewtwo's character. Mewtwo Strikes Back is a film I found to be a good watch. There are definitely some weak parts to it though, such as side characters being nothing more than co-recs with lines of dialogue, why the clones care about a random 10-year-old being turned to stone, and Mewtwo's change of heart after one good interaction with a human. These really hurt the film in my opinion, but they aren't deal breakers for me. Overall, it's good with some noticeable faults, but I could soundly say it got me excited to revisit its follow-up in Pokemon 2000. So, Pokemon 2000 Power of One is a film that was made. From the start, we are introduced to a talking Slowking speaking of a prophecy. What follows is our villain, Lawrence III's introduction, setting up a conflict that feels extremely shallow when speaking in comparison to what precedes it. Just for a point of comparison, Mewtwo Strikes Back had clear dilemmas that needed to be solved, Mewtwo's purpose and personal freedom. Before I move forward, I just want to establish that a villain that doesn't have a crazy amount of depth isn't necessarily a bad one. There's plenty across media that are characterized as one-dimensional or surface level and are effective in their respective roles. But Lawrence doesn't do any of that. He instigates a situation that fulfills the prophecy spoken of at the beginning, but this is by total accident. His ship is then destroyed later on in the film, in which he survives and has a change of heart. For what reason, I have no idea. There was no development of his character or anything, and honestly, I think perishing with his ship is what should have happened to him. On top of that, it's hard to decipher what he represents. Maybe greed, I guess? If seeing the repercussions of his actions is supposed to change his heart, it's lazy at best and unbelievably cheap at worst. As a matter of fact, rewatching this entire film, I couldn't tell you what the main theme here even was. If I had to say anything, I would say the core message is that humans should never mess with nature's natural order, which should sound familiar because it's the exact same theme you could see at play in Mewtwo Strikes Back. There are some noticeable moments and concepts that are replicated in this film, albeit performed at a lower level of quality. Mewtwo has a change of heart that made sense because of his experiences with humans, while Lawrence gets zero buildup. He just has a change of heart for what we as an audience can only speculate. Ash almost dies again because our hero needs a low point, and once again we get a talking legendary because the movie hadn't done enough to copy its predecessor already. Mewtwo speaking made sense because of its origins, but Lugia speaks because everyone thought it was cool when Mewtwo did it, so yeah. Power of One is a movie that felt like a collection of events that just happened for the sake of a prophecy and nothing else. No greater theme, the villain doesn't represent anything, and stuff kinda just happens. Now that I've gone through that, we can move on to the movie that started this entire series. Pokemon Movie 3, Spell of the Unknown, Entei. Molly and the Unknown are this film's heart. Neither serves as a villain necessarily, rather falling into an antagonistic role, kidnapping Ash's mom and creating a space impenetrable by any human technology. With a glass-like structure spreading like wildfire and his mother in danger, Ash has no other choice but to jump into action, and this is where he and Molly become foils for each other. Molly and Ash are placed in mirrored circumstances through losing their only remaining family, except Ash swallows any feeling of powerlessness, immediately going to save his mother, while Molly can't do anything except cry over her lost father. Ash is determined to get back what he's lost, while Molly is satisfied with what she has, remaining in a state of denial exemplified by the world within her home. Her individual battles play off the main cast well, giving each an opponent and environment they would enjoy. These battles highlight the Unknown's abilities organically as they communicate her feelings perfectly through her unbeatable status within her imagination. Unfortunately, these fantasies come to an end when Molly is confronted by reality, forcing her protector and Entei to take down the biggest threat to her happiness in Ash. Molly has nothing outside of this world she has created, but that doesn't mean she can take away from others to replace what she does not have in reality. It would only make others feel the same pain she felt instead of actually remedying her own personal problems. Ash's mother getting Molly to realize this is significant as she genuinely takes on a motherly role for her. However, a change of heart would not be enough as the Unknown grew too much in power, and Molly had to push Entei to destroy a world that gave her a sense of comfort and belonging. Molly and Entei's relationship has always been by her own design. Entei obeyed her without complaint and acted as a father should, but only partly. Entei did not guide Molly or reprimand her, he simply obeyed. Their final interaction with Molly telling him to destroy her ideal world and having to believe in him fully is her moment of maturity because she is willingly choosing to finally come to grips with what she has lost. Molly's maturity at the end of the film is what her character had been moving towards from the start. She grew from a little girl who cried about her lost father to someone that understood what her actions were doing to others. Her relationship with Entei and Ash were strong points of this film because of how well they served their purpose. Entei enables her fantasy, but Ash reminds her of reality. Each is an agent acting upon two sides of her character that she has to bring together by the end. It's a beautiful conclusion for her character arc and serves as the best written antagonistic force seen in this trio of movies. Each of these films tell their own unique story, but I found myself far more interested in the antagonist as I didn't care too much about what Ash and company were doing at any given point. Almost zero agency is given to anyone except Ash, and it permeates throughout every movie, meaning if the opposition isn't interesting, then the film loses in its story department, which is sad because the animation isn't all that great either, so the major appeal of an hour-long Pokemon experience is pretty much lost. Regardless of what I've said here today, I'm still extremely fond of these movies, if not for their stories, then their OSTs or just nostalgia. Next time, I'll be diving into Pokemon movies 4 through 7, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you all so much for watching, please stay safe out there and have yourselves a damn good one. I'll see you all next time.